is definitely, a Western value system or a Western way of working. But it would seem to me, like just looking into the East, that like they're gripped by the same
Oh yeah,
genetic culture,
totally.
and maybe they weren't in the past, but like to go to India or China, like it's still there, I would imagine. But like, is there anything that we can learn from other cultures in relation to slowing down, or perhaps from past cultures that will enable us to approach it in a way that we can get things done, but our identity with speed is starting to break or loosen a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that this is not a Western affliction. If it started, it probably did start in the West, right? This kind of turbo approach to everything, productivity slung around our neck like a millstone. Yeah, that's because industrialization started in the West, but it's gone global, right? If you've ever been
Yeah,
to Shanghai or Seoul in South Korea, you know that the virus of hurry is coursing through the veins of the Pacific Rim
yeah,
and East Asia just as much, maybe in some cases even more than it is in Dublin or London or New York or wherever in the West. So this is a kind of modern world, late capitalism malady, right?
mm,
I think certainly if you go to Western Eastern cultures, because some of this speeding up is more recent for them, some of the slower traditions are more present or perhaps a bit more resilient or more visible. So you go around Hong Kong, which is a city of volcanic energy, and you'll see people of all ages doing Tai Chi in parks during their lunch break, right, or in the morning and
mm,
so on. So and the tea ceremony. There's more kind of slow stuff floating around as cultural accoutrements, but basically they're just as hooked on TikTok and Amazon purchases as
yeah,
everybody else. So if you're asking about where we can learn from other cultures, I think within the Western, or let's call it the modern globalist bubble that most of us on the planet live in now, there are small things we can learn from different places. So if you think of, say, the Italians or Southern Europeans, I think in the Western, Northern European, Protestant, Anglo-Saxon approach to food is very much faster than the South. So the Southerners
mm,
will take time to sit, eat, talk, break bread together, which has all kinds of health benefits and also connection and social, all the stuff, and is very helpful for building trust and esprit de corps in businesses and teams. So there's a whole
mm,
laundry list of benefits.
yeah,
We in English-speaking cultures could pick up some of the things from the south of Europe. The siesta, right? The siesta
yeah.
is making a comeback in the modern workplace. And I don't mean the traditional, you don't need a bottle of Rioja and 2 hours sleep. It's a thing of beauty, but it's probably best kept for a slow vacation. I mean, like a modern, leaner, meaner
Power
siesta.
naps almost, yeah, yeah,
Exactly. A bottle of water,
yeah,
20 to 24 minutes, like NASA says, come back
yeah,
recharged,
yeah.
refresh. So we can learn from them. But in some ways, there's a sort of deeper tidal current here, I think, that we could tap into looking at traditional societies, right? Not pre-modern, but outside that modern Premier League of speed, let's call it, where there was an old, back in the colonial era, uh, people in Africa, that's a wild generalization, so people who were being colonized by European imperialists would turn to the Europeans and say, back in the 19th century, they say, you have the clocks, we have the time. So I think that kind of approach to time, sort of feeling less about counting the minutes and the seconds and more about living them. That's something I
Mm,
think is very present in traditional cultures. They move with natural rhythms. They're in harmony with nature. And of course, nature is the ultimate ally for the slow
mm.
revolution and the slow movement because you can't speed up nature.
No, no,
We could try, but it always ends badly. And
yeah,
so I think
yeah,
those cultures live much more in symphony with the rhythms of Mother Nature. And that's something that we could learn so much
yeah,
from it. We
definitely,
are kind
yeah,
of, we've got a green movement and we're trying to move in that direction, but it's a big lift. So I would I
yeah,
would I
yeah.
would argue that that's something we could definitely be tapping into from
Yeah,
our
I think there's